Hey everybody, it's Joe Vizio here. We're just a couple days away from Thanksgiving. And, I was sitting here just kind of hopping around, listening to different videos. And, when I usually just put the phone in my pocket sometimes, listening to videos. And whatever comes up through the autoplay is what I listen to. And a video came up about Thanksgiving last year. I mean, right around Thanksgiving. At least I was talking about Thanksgiving in it. So it just kind of reminded me that this day is upon us. This is one of my favorite holidays. This is probably my favorite holiday. I love cooking, and I am the family cook, man. So it just kind of got me thinking. Back at that time, I guess I was getting close to that 8-year period where, I haven't spoken to my father, that 8-year anniversary. And I had told a story about a rocket ship, about a toy of mine that I had. I was like 5 years old. And, I was really pestering my father to play with me, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to play with me. You know what? I don't think that my father really played as a child, or maybe he didn't know how to play, or I don't know what it was, but, he definitely didn't have no part of that with me. And this one in particular, and as I told the story, when I guess I had pushed him to the point where he was mad, and he started yelling at me and telling me no, and I dropped my rocket on the floor and walked away. And I guess he kind of took it as that being a smart ass thing, or I didn't do something right. Being sad and crying because my father yelled at me because he didn't want to play. I did something wrong, and he stood up off of that couch, and he come over, and he was just saying something to the effect of, he don't have to play if he don't want. He lifted up his foot, and he just stomped down on top of my rocket ship, and I broke it. Dude broke my rocket. It was a pretty big thing when I was a kid. It made me cry even more, and the reason that I brought that story up is that me and my wife were preparing for Thanksgiving, because we had a bunch of people coming over. And I had stepped on a pile of coat hangers that she had on the floor. And just that stepping and that crunching sound kind of triggered that memory for me. So, if you didn't see that video, you don't have to go see it now. I just gave you the brief rundown. So, bada bing, bada boom. So I want to say, we got this holiday coming up. And I can't tell you how I wish that in this perfect world that I could just have this huge table, and all of you can sit around and be a part of my family for this day. And it's an important day for me. It has a lot of meaning, and we're not talking about pilgrims and Indians and stuff like that. To me, it's family. It's just taking that day and just celebrating with family, and being thankful excuse me, being thankful that we have that opportunity, that we all made it another year, and that we could sit around that table and break bread with each other. And that would just be so cool, just for all of us to sit around that table together. Nobody judging anybody. That we can all just sit there and have a meal together and be happy. If you want to put honey on your peas, you put honey on your peas. Nobody's judging you at my table. I know a lot of you out there that are just recent with breaking free from that family. It's going to be a hard day, especially if you see it as a day to celebrate family. And it has more of a significance for me. It wasn't always my favorite holiday. You know, I mean, what did we do? We went over to my father's house, and you know, my father had his crowd of people coming over, and you know, and I just felt like the dirty janitor that found his way to the table. You know, I felt that all the eyes were upon me, even though they probably weren't. I still felt that way. And I just felt like I was just so far out of place. You know, my father's house was never home. And you have to imagine that, you know, time where you go back to your parents' house and you just, hi mom, hi dad, you just go in and you open up that refrigerator and you can grab a piece of mom's meatloaf that she made the other day and get a soda out of the refrigerator and the only thing that your mom's yelling at you about is because you're eating that piece of meatloaf cold. No, heat it up. Put some mashed potatoes with it. And it just, you know, I felt like if I was at my father's house and if I just got up and walked to the refrigerator and opened it without asking permission, I would feel like I was shoplifting. It's not my house. That's not my life. My father's home wasn't home. I was a guest in his home. And to me, that just didn't seem right. That's my father. That's my mother. Wherever you live should be home for me, even if it's not home. But maybe that's just too high of an expectation that I put on my parents. So we'll see. This is a learning process. It's not just about calling my parents out, it's about calling myself out. So Thanksgiving has that big special meaning. It became that special day to me. The very first time that I decided, fuck my father, I ain't going over there. And this was before I was no contact with him. This was probably about a year before my employment with him terminated and the last time that I had talked to him. And I had just decided that I didn't want to go there for that spectacle. That they didn't respect me, and I would have been damn lucky if they even liked me. That maybe they just tolerated me. Or maybe my father just wanted his friends to come over to see him in all his glory sitting there with his children. See, we are a happy family. Look at this one joyous day that my children are special. Ah, fuck you. And that's exactly what I decided, was fuck you. And I did my own Thanksgiving dinner. Me and my wife. She wasn't even my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend. And we had just started living together in this little dinky beat up trailer, and And I'd be damned if we didn't fashion a couple tables together, recruited my mom over there, and this was before my mom had really gotten bad with her health. You know, my mom, she was working. She had her jobs that she went to, and she came over, and you know, she took the lead on the cooking. But I was definitely front and center as that assistant, and really learned some things. And me and my mother, we laid out this spread. It was just for my wife's family. My wife's sister and her son and her husband and my in-laws, and it was a big day. I mean, my father-in-law, I mean, he even had the jacket and the tie on, and I mean, he was dressed up, man. And for the first time on that holiday, I didn't feel like that guy that should have just been like with a plate of turkey in the closet where nobody can see me. I was that guy that took my rightful spot at the head of my table. And my father-in-law took his spot at the other head of the table. And this was their first Thanksgiving. Because remember, my wife's family is Colombian. We put that turkey out on that table, and I handed that carving knife over to my father-in-law. And I told him it was his honor to carve that turkey. And ever since that day, every holiday after, Christmas, Thanksgiving, we always go out. We always go all out. I like to cook. I like to have that family gathering around that dinner table. And the important thing here for all of you that are just going through the no contact, that are seasoned pros at it, and you know, you make your own traditions. You do your own thing. You take what is your family, and it doesn't have to be blood. You take your family and you do your own thing. You surround yourself with the people who truly appreciate you. People that are going to laugh when you do that goofy trick sticking a spoon to your nose. And they're not going to roll their eyes at you and call you stupid because you did it. And put the olives on your fingers. You do your own thing. And as those kids are coming up, whether that's the children of your siblings or your grandchildren or your children, you show them what family tradition is supposed to be. You take all the bad that has happened to you and you turn it into something good for them. You show them what you wanted. And that is exactly what I did. And that is why Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I love it. So, I'm pulling up at the house here now. And I just want you guys to know that. And if you have the chance, whatever you're doing, just take a moment and just think about that big table. And we're all there. Just like we have been there for each other. As we watch each other's videos. Or we make videos for each other. and we leave comments for each other, and we give bits and pieces of our story to each other, just so that we can relate, so that we can feel comfortable together. So that when I tell a story about my rocket ship being stomped, you can tell me, you know what, Joe, I can relate to you because my mother tore the head off of my doll. So, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. And there's much love coming from me. I don't think that I really could have gotten this far without you. This far, this fast. Y'all have been my strength. And that I hope that I'm filling my part and I'm being strength for you all. From my family, from my wife Anna, from my daughter Luciana, and from me, not Joe Vizio, Joe Ferraro. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.